Yeah. Alright, guys. We're here finally with what's going to be my favorite episode so far. And, I love modern rock and I love rock and roll. We have here today the guitarist from one of my favorite bands and the best modern rock band I've ever seen. And that is Dylan Palmiero from Magnolia Bayou.
What's
Hello.
up, ladies and gentlemen? How are y'all?
I've seen you play a bunch of times, and I've always been like, holy shit. And I even got to see you. I even got to saw you like you had short hair, so it was kind of like like all those bands that were clean cut at one point. Now they all grow their hair. I kind of felt like I saw that phase of a very famous guitar player.
It's cool, smoking cigars at the cigar lounge, after school and college and stuff. Going from there to the long-haired hippie I am today is pretty fun. Um, yeah, it's cool though.
So like you're rocking for like all the, like I mean to me like you're living like I mean in many ways like a fantasy. Everybody's always thought about what would it be like to be with a guitar in front of a shit ton of people playing a really good song. Everybody like jamming to your songs. Like what's that like?
It can't be beat. Especially, I know you saw the Blue Oyster Cult gig, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, I did.
watching them after the fact and seeing what they were doing, as 40, 50 years later, being on that stage in front of all those people just prior to that was just, it was incredible, man. It was an experience that I'll never soon forget, if not ever. So,
So you've opened up for Blue Oyster Cult. You've also opened up for who else? I know you also opened up for Steel Panther.
yeah, we opened up for Steel
That's
Panther,
pretty awesome. Can you
Buck Cherry,
come a little closer to the microphone? Just yeah.
Steel Panther, Buck Cherry.
Buck Cherry, really?
Yeah,
Buck Cherry?
yeah,
Oh my God, fucking Buck Cherry! I did
yeah.
not expect that. Hell yeah.
It was cool. We did a little run with them down in Florida.
Hell yeah. I bet that was like pretty kick ass.
The
That's a pretty big crowd.
crowds were fun to play for sure.
Yeah, they love that shit. I know they love some of your songs, like Bones and stuff, probably.
We actually we had that song ready to go, but we chose not to play that one for that run just because
Really?
we had like 45 minutes to an hour every night, and we wanted. I mean, at the time we hadn't brought that into the set yet, but we were still working on it, trying to refine that song. But yeah, we gotta. It's a fun song to
I
open.
love your fast-paced ones.
Thank you.
I know.
Like Dig Deep and stuff like that.
Now, there's one I know, and I keep always promising myself, like, I'll remember the name of this one. I know, because, like, you use it to, like, merge other songs together, like, kind of goes into that song, you know what I mean? And I forgot, it's the one, like, dun 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 dun. Like, yeah, it's, like, really, it's a
Thieves.
terrible version of a song with my mouth. I'm sorry you had to hear that cringe. It's not ASMR. This is not, so go pack your suitcase and leave the house right now. The, it goes through a fat. It's like that section of the song where it's kind of everybody's kind of headbanging to it. I have a video of it on my Snapchat, and you'll recognize the beat. But like, I love that tune where it's just super fast. Y'all do like a
We got
really good fast paced tone, and I like it a lot. It's like heavy, but it's not too heavy.
Was it towards the beginning of the set or like towards the
Beginning
end?
ish.
Maybe Dig Deep. It's
Let's find out,
it's
shall we?
pretty
We're gonna put it on here.
pretty fast paced tune. It's got to be that one. I mean, if it's from the second record, I feel like it's got to be Dig Deep.
Y'all open up to this one, right?
Sometimes
I
we try to shake things up.
I don't think this was the one. I like that echo to it too. I like that.
I would,
What was the other one you said it might have been? I fucking love it. I
Thieves.
will not. I think it is that.
It's a funk tune. It's like a funky rock song.
I like that one.
Yeah.
But man, like I can't type with the fucking shit. But it's
We
kind
can
of
edit this
cool.
bit.
Fuck it.
uh,
We're just gonna put some Magnolia up on there and let it play. You know what's cool about your concerts, and I kind of get the same vibe from the other ones, which is I love that old school feel. I have actually seen people at your concerts I had not seen in years, and it was like so crazy to me. I was like, wow, like I remember you, I remember this person, like, and it's and they were from Gulfport,
Yeah.
because y'all are from
Yep.
originally from
Yeah,
Gulfport, yeah.
we're all from Gulfport. I guess Cedric's technically from Long Beach, but yeah, we're all. We stole him. He was too good for.
I mean, he is a fantastic drummer. I really would like to have all four of y'all here one day. We can all
Yeah.
hear just some and like I want one thing I want to ask. First of all, how did you get into playing the guitar? I know that's a question you probably heard 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not quite, but I'm certainly not tired of answering it. So my cousins Anthony and Devin, one on my dad's side, one on my mother's side, and they both played guitar when I was around 6 or 7, and so I saw that going into like my 7th, 8th birthday, and so um, I just I saw it a lot, and it was something that I really enjoyed watching them do, and so I just asked for a guitar for my Christmas.
How long did it take you, like, just kind of learn how to tune and
It was actually my
just like
birthday. Excuse
play?
me. It was my birthday. But it took me, a couple years to kind of get, where I thought I was good. But my dad said, like, man, a year in, you were like, playing some crazy stuff, and I was like, I don't.
There has to be a point where I guess you recognize I can do this thing easier than a lot of other people can, like a talent.
Yeah,
And that's like some people just can't do that. You gotta be kind of born to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of, just I don't know. I guess pure luck. I guess the universe or whatever
I
wants
think
me
so,
to
because
wants
like
me to do
the way
this.
you play that slide guitar is pretty damn wild.
Thanks.
Not a lot of people, like I think like like Dwayne Allman and stuff,
Sure.
and like Dickie Betts kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dickie had to take over some slide, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I mean, just like I couldn't move my hand like that.
It's
But
fun,
and you're not
man.
even looking at your fingers. I mean, that's like pretty fucking crazy.
Sometimes, well, I mean, mainly a lot of it is like is your ear. You gotta have to hear the note that you're shooting for. So, like,
I mean, like before it happens, kind of. You kind of
yeah.
gotta know what's coming.
Well, you want to
Timing.
exactly.
That's gotta be kind of difficult.
Timing, like
Pace,
I guess,
stamina, probably.
seeing the note that you're about to go to, in your head almost, and like
Yeah.
envisioning, hey, I'm gonna go to say an F here or whatever. Um, just kind of a thing that you gotta muster up the confidence to get on for slide is a lot of it, and like learning that your ear's more important than like looking at the fret, In the instance of slide, yes, you have to
In a way,
play
it's
on
like
the
a
fret.
crazy muscle memory, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
your body is kind of in tune with what you're doing.
it's a muscle
You're that
memory.
confident.
It's a muscle memory in my ear, practically,
Yeah.
and then also with I guess my hands too. I mean, it does matter. Everything has to be on all cylinders, for slide, practically, because your right hand, has to. You got to mute it. I don't want to get like too crazy technical into it, but like
It's so fascinating.
it's
Your fingers are just get like cramped up, you know? Like, did they ever, you ever, I mean, like, you ever just get like some crazy little like, just, just like scars from that?
yeah.
I mean, it's a wire. I
I
mean,
cut
you
my
weren't rubbing your,
hands. I cut my hands a good bit on like the
Wow.
bridge or um, sometimes on the strings, but mostly on the bridge. I'll just like go for a note and
kind of like,
or like my the fat part of your palm
Wow.
right there. I'll like go in for
friction.
kind of yeah,
Right.
or like
You're rubbing up against that whole, just that piece of whatever it is.
and I just put everything that I have into playing. Whether it be me stomping because the music's moving me or whatever have you. But you slam your hand down on the bridge, to go for like this.
Yeah, when you just go
this,
like that, huh?
and you can feel the energetic intensity of like those type of notes or those type of
Yeah.
licks.
In the moment, kind of, right?
Yeah, right. It's exactly
Everybody's
that.
looking at you, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking freak these people out. Just to
Could be,
play,
yeah.
because like the way you play, like I see bands like play cover songs, like they're playing,
They're having fun.
but like when I see like right where the stop, and then it just drops, boom, like
Yeah.
and when you're throwing your whole body down and your eyes are like clenched closed, and like the whole, I know it's like all the adrenaline, like because it's definitely, what the fuck is this? It's definitely.
This is something we did about a year and a half
Oh,
ago.
I thought it was
You
like
don't.
I thought it was like Guitar Center like commercial. I
Kind of
couldn't even
looks like
like
it.
yeah.
Here,
Oh no,
if
hell.
you want to, I don't know. It's got like interviews and stuff, and
Oh,
it's a
this is for Alabama TV or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
okay, I saw this. Yeah, you, that's kind of cool too. Y'all are like had like your own audience for like a filming of your band.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
pretty dope. Like, cause I didn't
That was
think
a
they did
while
a lot
back.
of that.
Josh is got a short hair.
I know, I noticed that. Yeah. I like I like that one video of you guys where it's like a room full of everybody in cowboy hats. It's in Tuscaloosa.
Oh
And you're
yeah,
playing,
yeah.
and y'all are going hard, and
Yes, yeah, that's pretty
well,
cool.
like, and y'all tour across the country, so like, yeah, there's got to be what's some pretty wild moments or wild things you've experienced in touring? 'Cause I know touring in itself is pretty nuts, because we all like to think we know what it's like, but none of us really ever done something like that, traveling but not touring musically. So what's that like?
As far as like cool stuff or like
Oh,
interesting things or like crazy
I mean
things.
anything. Okay, let's start with crazy.
Well, okay, so we were in Salt Lake City, Utah, on the way back from a gig, and so we almost hit a deer,
Oh yeah.
and then which was crazy in and of itself. This was a big old deer, and after that, we arrived at the gas station to fill up the tank a little bit, I guess, and then get some snacks to bring back to the hotel. And so there's this old dude who's wearing like he's wearing half of an army shirt, like a camo shirt, and then he's wearing scrubs. So
Okay,
he's got a camo shirt
that's completely normal.
and then scrubs. He was probably wearing Crocs, to be quite honest.
Okay,
But
so he's definitely a man of fashion.
correct. He's definitely a Gucci man. And so he just comes up to us and he's like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And we're like none of your business,
Yeah,
really,
nothing. Well, what are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
doing?
And so we were, practically interrogated by this fella. And
Is it like a case of like the random sketchy like homeless dude that just comes up and like just
no,
talks to you?
but quite the different situation. Like that, those guys are a dime a dozen, and I hate, the fact that we have homeless population at all.
Yeah, no,
But
I mean it's so out of control now
but
too.
exactly, and so, but it wasn't even that kind of guy. It was like one of those kind of guys that was there to say something, and
Okay,
like
yeah, yeah.
didn't necessarily need any money. Didn't was
Just kind of
just
there to hang.
was yeah practically just loitering, for no reason whatsoever. And so
Those Mormons, man.
right. I guess not all of not they're not bad, but
No,
this cat was ostracized from any and organized religion. Nothing
was he
was.
really?
I don't know. It was just he seemed of the sort. But anywho, um so he asked us. He was like, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, we should not have even divulged this much information, but we were like, we're a band. We just played a
Yeah.
gig. We're going. It's and practically after that, it's like none of your damn business.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was like, "Oh, there's 5 dudes in a van with no chicks, rock stars," and we were like, what do you like? This is none of your business, And we're like, we're here to gig, have a good time and leave. We don't, we stick around sometimes and hang out for longer, but it just depends, And
Yeah.
like not in Salt Lake City with the crowd that we had played for at the time,
Yeah.
It was like there was one dude and his wife and then his brother, I guess, and like that was it, man.
Really?
Other than that, like,
That was all the people.
well, no, those are all the people that I would have like wanted to hang out with. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? It
yeah.
wasn't like a huge crowd anyway, but
Yeah.
it was like almost like a
Fuck, I would have flew out there.
pizza bar like thing
Yeah.
with watered down beer because it was Utah, or Salt Lake City,
Oh my
Utah, I
God.
guess.
Yeah. I had to
So
deal with some weird stuff over there with Utah before.
it was interesting, man.
I do know about the.
The hotel we stayed at was shit as well.
Yeah,
So
but I feel like that's kind of part of the adventure, right? Like,
we
as a
stay in some
young
shitty
band,
hotels.
you stay in those Motel 2s and 3s.
Red Roof Inn
The red,
rewards.
red ration.
Not quite, but yes.
No, one of the shittiest hotels I ever stayed at. It was in Defuniak Springs, Florida.
To where?
Defuniak Springs,
Oh, okay.
Florida.
Yep.
The
Yep.
Econo Lodge. I thought I was gonna have a brick thrown up against my head and I was gonna get like fucking molested on the parking lot. Like, and right in the floor in the room next to me, I shit you not. I heard like the loudest scream, and I just left. I left.
That's enough for me.
I was in bed for 8 minutes. I left.
So we have our photographer travel with us, and so she's got an RV, and so
It's pretty cool.
we have access to the RV. When she comes, and it's lovely, and so
Pretty cool.
so it was, I believe, Cedric and I with our photographer. There's enough room to sleep a couple of people in the RV. So
It's like some Magnolia Bayou in the background, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna talk. We're gonna get the names of the albums as well. We're gonna shout them out. So stick around for the end, and that will be in the description. By the way, back to you.
yeah. So we were at this. I want to say somewhere in Georgia, or
Like smaller town.
um,
We need to do a gig up in Dahlonega, Georgia, man. I'm telling you, that spot.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we played in.
I got an aunt that lives up there on the river. It's a beautiful mining town.
That's awesome.
They have a lot of like Deadhead kind of vibe up there too.
Sure.
They would love it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
we were saying, I'm sorry.
We've played in Macon before at the
Hell
at the
yeah.
big house once, and that was awesome.
Especially for you being a guitarist.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
gotta
God,
be
yeah.
like
So they got
going to
pictures.
Mecca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the holy ground for me.
I'm sorry. You and Cedric,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
photographer, were just hanging out.
So we were just hanging out in the RV. We got Pedro and our merch guy and tour manager, and Drew and Josh were going to their hotel, and so we got set up. We set up camp and everything, and everything was good for us, and so typically that's just it for us, and then but so they got the key to the apartment or to the hotel, go to get in the hotel, and there was like 6 or 7 people deep, just like big chillin', like sleeping, like, I mean, we put 5 to a room on occasion, but like there was probably 7 or 8 people, I want to say, in that room. um and I don't know quite the story because they're only telling me this, but and so they got their room key, those other people's room key, and so they barged up in there at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and like this girl just like looks over, she's like, like, and then so Pedro ran down to the front desk, and he was like, look, like, what the hell, like, you gave us their hotel key, and like, what are you doing, and it was awful. I couldn't imagine being barged in on at like 3 a.m. By a rock band. It's like,
I mean, how does that even fucking happen? I mean, that's so funny. Just like
incompetence. I mean, or like just disorganized. I don't know, but
You ever have any insane shit happen to you at a show? I mean, like, I know people go crazy at a good show, especially other parts of the country I'll go to. I'm sure you've seen some pretty wild shit up on that stage.
man, believe it or not, I have not been on the receiving end of like seeing anything crazy. Um, and just because I like to be intuitive to like the music that's happening. I do like to look out, on occasion and see what's going on.
Well, exactly because like you just don't want to just you'd rather just focus on like your talent and stuff. I
Well,
understand that.
I mean, I'd
But I'm
rather.
saying, in case you haven't noticed, there's been some crazy shit happening.
Okay,
You probably
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
noticed.
I need to start paying attention
Oh my
then, I
god.
guess.
You probably see my dumbass waving at you whenever you look my way.
I wouldn't use the word dumbass to describe you, but yes, I do see you.
My incompetent self.
No, the incompetent word is not being used.
How was the one time I went to that learning museum.
Oh yeah.
And you guys, this is Colorado, right?
Um. So we this was in West Virginia. So
Even
this
better.
past summer we went from Gulfport, Mississippi to we were
That's a hell
supposed
of
to
a
have a
drive
show.
right there. Jesus
We were
Christ.
supposed to have a show in Arkansas, and so it didn't pan out. But so then our first show was in Grand Junction, Colorado, and then so we went from there to Idaho, back to Colorado for a couple of days, and then we drove out to West Virginia. We get to
West Virginia.
yeah, and so we went to this like you know Discovery Center style place. We got a little inebriated.
Which, by the way, those places are fun as fuck.
It was, and we were slightly inebriated, so it was all the more fun. And so yeah, it was just like, and we didn't quite know what to think of it. It was just like a learning center with an IMAX, and we were like, oh, okay, cool, something to do on our off day. And so we had two full
Let's
off
go,
days.
boys. We're
Yeah,
going to learn.
let's go, boys, let's go. And so Pedro rounded us up. Was like, let's go do this.
Rounded
This
y'all up.
yeah, it's easy.
You gotta keep tabs on you guys.
Yep. There's it's easier when you got somebody else, helping out with it. But it is what it is. So we went to this like learning discovery center thing, and they had all these like you know children's instrument style stuff, like drums. It was like set up like a little miniature recording studio where kids could go and
But but
bang on drums.
but being inebriated in Colorado, or wherever you were, it was it must have been just a laugh of a time.
It was.
I mean, I'm sure everything looked different. I bet you were just like kind of staring at stuff and look. I mean, because like to me, like if I did, I'd just be looking at everything.
Yeah, it was.
Hell yeah.
And Cedric sat down at this like desk. It was like the president of the United States desk and everything, and there was a
President of Cedric.
so there was like
The land of Cedric. That'd be cool for a country.
multiple bills, and you could like veto them or not veto them. It was
What were
fun.
some of the bills y'all wrote?
I don't
Y'all
know.
must have wrote some funny shit down
We
there. Oh god,
um
this is such a good song.
thank you, man. It's
Yeah, you
actually
guys gotta check out Sugar Spill, Magnolia Bayou. And also, there's something I want to ask you. I like radio and I like modern rock a lot more than lately. Now that I found you and all the other bands that I hadn't seen, like Gypsy Queens,
oh yeah,
but
dude.
really, really, they were kick ass, man, and they did not give a fuck.
They don't fuck around.
But they look like they don't fuck around either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're badass, man. They're insane.
and I saw this banner above the stage, and it was for a modern rock station, I believe. And I'm a huge fan of it now, and I'd really like to get them on the show sometime or talk with them because
Naked Gypsy Queens.
there was a banner above the stage for this modern rock station.
Oh, the sound.
The sound.
Yes, the
I
sound
I want to
228.
shout them out right now, and I'm a huge fan now. and I really, really like what they're doing. And I think it's definitely a step towards a very cool homegrown kind of movement.
Absolutely, yeah. Kevin and Jared over there at the Sound, man, they're incredible guys.
Where's their studio at?
It's in Gulfport, or no, excuse me, Biloxi. Yeah, these guys are great, man. Kevin actually did the promo video for the Juke Joint.
Oh, wow.
Our past October
What
Juke
was
Joint
it?
show.
What was it? The sound what?
The Sound 228. Yep,
Yeah,
it's down there
228,
on
yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, because I got to looking it up and checking it out and seeing what they're about. Fucking love it, because I was always kind of thinking like I wish we had something like this, and it turns out we do. So hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna get the radio app too. Definitely, big shout out to them.
Yeah,
If they have a YouTube channel, we'll put it in the description. Be like, shout out to them.
absolutely.
I love that there's like one thing I really love about living down here, especially Ocean Springs, that there's just a really cool community of people
For sure, man.
that love the local guys, you know. But you guys aren't really like the local guys. Like you guys bust your ass and go all over the place.
Yeah,
And have you seen like have you seen more of a growth lately in the past year
yeah.
or two
Well, you
in
know,
your audience and your fan base?
well, so with the pandemic and everything, like we haven't quite had a whole lot of a chance to tour off of this last record as much as we'd like to.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot to fill up the van and get hotels and
Oh yeah.
touring's expensive, man. So
And it's constantly on the body too, man. You're up, you're focused, you're
yeah,
trying
staying up till 3 a.m. and
yeah.
getting up at 10 to drive 8 hours, and
But it's like you're doing. I feel like you're really paying your dues. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. We've paid them in certain areas, and then we are still paying them in other areas. And there's a lot more
Yeah.
areas where we're not paying our dues, or where we are paying our dues, still. So like, I mean, we've been a band for 6 going on 7 years now, but it's like still, you know, we got a lot to go, in order to be selling out arenas every night, or selling out theaters. Selling out theaters would be my way to do it, but
Yeah.
like,
You had a
depending,
pretty good audience at the Blue Oyster Cult, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw a lot of familiar faces.
it was cool. A lot of our fans, came with us to support us, and that was awesome. And so, but there was a lot of new fans that we gained from that too. Everybody sat down and watched us, and after a couple of songs I would notice people toward the back start to like stand up,
Yeah.
and like I couldn't quite see that far because like the lights are
Oh yeah. And they're in
so
your
dark.
face too,
Well, the
and you
lights
can't
are
see
so
past
dark,
it, right?
yeah, back there, and they're so bright on stage with us, so like you can kind of only see a couple of
Silhouettes.
rows, and then silhouettes, and then black,
Yeah.
like it's dark as
Darkness.
shit back there.
But I like
And
that. It's kind
so,
of like a mystery. It's like I wonder what they're doing back
yeah,
there.
like my girlfriend and family and everything was like, they were all back there, and her girlfriend, or my girlfriend's mom and dad were like the first couple of
I
rows,
saw
and
Amy.
I couldn't even see them. Like it was, and I didn't know to look for them right there or anything, but like I
But you
couldn't
said your
even
parents were
see
there,
you,
right? You said your parents were there.
my parents, and
I
then
think he did see me at one. I mean, I was from your stage reference.
like right in front, right?
I was in the right,
Yeah,
a little bit up a couple rows, and yeah, I mean it was pretty explosive. And
yeah.
I really like the acoustics in there.
Hmm.
They were pretty cool. It gave like that old school kind of like that I guess reverb or something like that, kind of like a condensed sound where it was like doom
Yeah,
doom, like you heard like it wasn't like a coliseum or arena. It was more like this. It was
there's an ambiance
yeah
in
yeah
the
yeah
room, and it's cool because like Drew and I were talking about this, um like we both have delay pedals on our board and on our pedal boards, and so I was like, man, you don't even need delay here, or
yeah
reverb mainly, mainly reverb, but like it does at least during sound check it would like echo off the back wall, which was cool as shit. Um, but it's more so reverb when people get in there because like
Echo of people talking and clapping and stuff, probably.
well not so much even that,
Or
it's
just
just
like
like
them in
the
the chairs.
the big ceilings and the way that they carved that place out for music, and they
Yeah.
took into consideration like the science behind like
There was
reverb
definitely a
and
science behind it.
and everything like that, to where it's an experience when you're there, and that's what I loved so much about that. We only had 30 minutes, but it was like, soaking that all up, for
Oh
30
yeah, you
minutes
guys
was
were
like,
you guys were on it, and the audience fucking loved it.
yeah,
They
exactly,
really
man.
really like. I saw them. I saw that table out front y'all had.
Hmm.
It swarmed after y'all set.
Yeah, the merch table got pretty swarmed, man. It was
I,
lovely,
I
man.
have the picture of y'all and all your autographs. I need to bring it in here, put it on the wall. I have
Heck
it.
yeah,
I have it. I want to put it like over there somewhere.
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
it was fun. Just like that's what we all look forward to, is just the time that we can play theaters, open for people, play theaters,
Hopefully
and then
it helps a lot, I
eventually,
assume.
oh god, yeah, and then eventually move our way up to selling out theaters in our own right, or just playing them and packing them 3/4 full, enough to where we can make some good money, and
Yeah, I would highly recommend colleges, man.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
college towns are a good way.
try to get a spot at Hobie's or Rick's Cafe, and you'll
We
get
played Rick's up there in Starkville before.
That's a good
Hmm.
spot, man.
Yeah, it
I
is.
bet they love that shit up there.
Oh god, yeah.
Hobie's is a really good spot. It's an old school kind of like music place too.
Nice.
Yeah, colleges love that shit, man, and they get a fan base and they pass on, especially like the frat kids, like
Yeah,
generation, they pass it on. Then I think college campus is such a good place for bands to go and make a following
yeah. I mean,
because the young people talk like, hey, we saw this person, we saw Magnolia Bayou last night. Then you'd be like, oh, hey, my big brother told me about this band, they're coming back, and then
sure.
you have a whole endless fan base when you go to college campuses, and
Yeah, we've played up
even if
in
you're obscure, they don't give a shit.
right.
Like they'll
Yeah,
fucking come.
we played up in Starkville, and then up in Ole Miss, up
But that
there.
was pretty well.
I want to play the Lyric up there. Um,
You would, man, the lyric, y'all would love fucking play the lyric. I would love
yeah,
to see you guys the lyric. I would kill to go see you guys the lyric because like that place. I think y'all really could get that place jam packed because
yeah,
people in Austria will go see bands just to go see a band.
for sure.
You
Yeah,
know, and they have a pretty cool like music community up there now.
yeah,
They're,
yeah.
they're pretty hip.
Yeah, I think so.
There's an
Um,
IPA bar there. That they also have another bar
oh,
and
nice.
stuff. It's right in what's the name of it? It's right there in the square.
Of course, you were just there, right?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
there. We saw Young Grave. We had VIP and we met the
nice.
dude.
Very cool.
He's like everything. I meeting him was everything I thought it would be.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's too cool,
he
dude.
was the funniest. He was funny as shit. He was fucking so over. I had a dab for him, man. And let me tell you something, man. When I see Young Gravy, pretty excited, and we're both okay. Like, pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, if you fall in love with him, I won't blame you. It's cool.
yeah.
Hannah's all jazzed, and you know, the bar wouldn't open until later, and I'm gonna try to go get a beverage, an adult beverage to be precise. And I see this dude, he has like a Grateful Dead shirt on, and we're talking about, I'm like, yeah, some Bob Weir and stuff. And Dad and he had to charge it up. I took 3 big hits. Let me tell you something. Like an hour later, like for me, Dad pens have an effect. An hour later, man, I was like, I couldn't even fucking stand, man. That place got crowded, people
Yeah,
sweaty,
just too much to handle.
sweaty and moist, and I hated it. And then I started mixing vodka with like Coke and whiskey, like an idiot. So I've kind of pledged now to kind of cut out the drinking for a while. I don't like it, man. Like, lately when I've been going to your shows, I've been kind of just sticking to grass because, the music's gonna be good regardless. Why go home with a headache?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I don't blame you there,
I
man.
want. So how'd y'all get Cedric?
Oh,
He is a badass drummer, man.
so
Love his
actually,
drumming.
I found out about him through my good buddy Taylor Roberts, who's in a band called Riding with Killers now, and
I like that name.
yeah, it's a badass name. And so I heard about him from Taylor, and I'd also heard him from, I want to say Amber Dawn, fellow musician from down here. She knew him from like the open jams at Juke Joint, and so also I want to say Flint from the Shed. Oh, nice. That's really cool. And so I heard his name a couple of times, and we looked him up, and we're like, "Hey, man, we're we're looking for a new drummer. What do you say? Come come get lunch with us one day, and then you know talk it out. See if your schedule permits. To be in a
Did he
rock band."
rehearse at all? Like, did he
Yeah,
play?
yeah.
What was y'all thinking when he saw the drummer?
We did a jam with him, and we told him to learn a couple of songs, and then after that, we were like, Jesus, this this kid's insane, or not kid, he's older than us, but like this dude's just ridiculous, and so best drummer I've ever played with, and so
He's very like hard hitting, kind of reminds me of John
and
Martin a
he's
little
not
bit.
even trying that hard, like
Oh, he can hit the
he
shit out of him if he
smacks
wants to.
he smacks that shit, and
You
like
can feel it too when he
yeah,
plays.
like
And
dude,
everybody
it's
loves him too. He's a sweetheart. It seems
oh god,
like.
yeah. So man, it's crazy because like we'll do sound check. And
Do, 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 do.
so yeah, like it'll go kick, 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 snare, snare, and like tom, 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 cymbals, and then like the sound tech will go, all right, play the full kit, and he just like gets on a groove, and it's like Jesus Christ, like it just like rips a hole in your chest. It's like good God, and it's
I think it's kind of
I
hard
live with
to.
him, and he like we jam at the house, and it's fun,
I
man.
want to come see that
Yeah,
sometime.
yeah, it'll be
I
cool.
tell you, man, like it's hard to find a good drummer that plays in a band nowadays. It's hard to like really find like a guy that really kind of like owns his craft, you know?
Yeah,
And
well,
he owns his craft.
certainly. There's some cats around here, man, that can hold it down too, and cover band stuff is the way to make a lot of money down here.
Yeah, I'd
I'm not
say
knocking
there's
it at
bad
all.
good. No, no, I'm not either. I
There's
mean,
cats.
those songs are like, I mean, are iconic. Like, and they're playing
Yeah,
it good. Hell,
yeah,
people, I'm gonna dance to that. I'm
absolutely.
gonna love it. No shame on that shit. I hate when people say some stuff about it. Like,
Yeah,
there's some boomers that I'm like, shut the fuck up.
it's cool, man. Like you got to know the club to go to,
We have a few
or
of them down here too, right? We have Bag of Donuts. No, there was a yeah Bag of Donuts, right? There were the '80s. They had one of the guys is Queen, one of the guys is Molly Ringwald or something like that.
there's also the Molly Ringwalds too.
That's the
There's
one.
yeah,
Where the
yeah,
guy's
yeah.
Freddie Mercury and stuff.
I think so.
Yeah,
And but yeah,
they're awesome. I've seen them a few
and
times.
then there's guys like around that play like Glory Bound and places around
No, they're
here.
awesome.
And I love those guys. We're all I try to stay as tight knit to that community as I can. Because we do travel, but I'm nothing more than what they're doing, just traveling with it.
Heck
And
yeah.
it's like
I just love that there's a community of people around your
yeah,
band. I mean, I love that. I mean, to me, it feels like I'm home. Like it's like, growing up, our dads had like their bands that they like.
yeah,
Like your dad probably had a band like he was like, yeah,
the Stones.
yeah, like that band. This and that. I saw the Stones in 2019. Um, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Say what you want about me. I don't give a shit. Um, I would love to see, from my own eyes, Mick Taylor play. To be quite honest with
Mick
you,
Taylor's insane, dude.
you know what?
Ronnie Wood's great, but man,
but look, man,
ain't
like
nothing like Mick Taylor.
1972, I have the 1972 live album, and you hear him play Dead Flowers. The studio album version of Live Flower of Dead Flower sucks compared to the live version of Mick Taylor playing it, where he is just. Have you seen it?
Can't You Hear Me Knocking's probably my favorite
Yeah,
Mick Taylor
that's
song.
a Rolling Stones song right there. But
That's
like, but
insane.
you don't. But like, you know why you don't hear that in any other albums really? Because it's not Mick Taylor playing.
Right, right. Yeah, there's something to be said about his era.
You know his first gig, right? Was Hyde Park, 1969. His first time playing with Rolling Stones. He just
Jesus
got a member
Christ.
because Brian Jones passed away. They got Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor was 1,000 times better
Yeah.
and played like a
Well,
son of a bitch.
well, Brian Jones had his, he was a genius, but he let all the drugs get the best of him. Unfortunately, um, you're totally welcome to play anything from the Stones, real quick.
I wanted you to see. I want everybody to hear this live version. If you've heard of this, I'll play the studio version too a little bit, but listen to this solo in the live version.
Texas,
Yeah, my dad was
nice.
actually at this. Lucky motherfucker.
Play the whole thing. Man.
Take a listen to this, guys. This is really rock and roll. 50 years later, Dylan will be getting inspiration from these guys. That's just awesome. We're all looking back at this and we're loving it still.
It's still as relevant now as it could ever be.
Absolutely.
Like,
Here it is. Wow.
it's a lick right there.
That's a nice, but it keeps going with you. You hear it. You don't hear that in the album version. You don't hear it live really kind of, you know?
Well, there's something to be said about studio stuff, and then there's something to be said about live stuff. Just it depends. Some people thrive in the studio, and some people thrive playing live in front of 1,000 people or whatever. I do better live. I don't even care if there's 10 people or 1,000 people. But if those 1,000 people aren't into it as much as those 10 people are, then I'm gonna play the shit out of it for those 10 people. And 10 or 10,000 is kind of like the way we like to think about things. Is like play with as much intensity for 1,000 people as you would
That's what I
for
like
ten
about you guys.
people, and
You don't
vice
give a
versa.
shit. Like,
Yeah,
you just play. You don't give a shit.
we just
That's what I noticed with Naked Gypsy Queens. They were playing like, they were just playing, man. They
they
didn't
get it,
care.
dude. They get it. They they know what they're doing. They're they're loud and proud rock and roll, man. They're insane. Um, Gotten to be good friends with those cats.
What are some bands that we talk about this a lot?
Sure.
And you know, one thing about you and me, we really didn't delve so deep into classic rock a lot. Like we know our stuff. And it's cool to have somebody here that I can be friends with and talk to about certain bands that maybe people don't even know really about. And for me, one of my favorite ones I think about a lot is like Alvin Lee and 10 Years After.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great one, man.
So underrated.
Yeah,
No one really knows about him.
not
I
so
mean,
much.
that should be a crime. Well, what are some bands that you look back and you really just like for inspiration? You think about that, get you going.
Well, Funkadelic's one of them, as far as like obscure stuff that not super obscure. I mean, they were, quite famous,
Yeah.
but
But that
Parliament
album up there, though.
Parliament was more mainstream than funk was,
Yeah.
than Funkadelic was, and obviously the P Funk Collective, is something to chime in with, but at the same time, that Funkadelic stuff, like standing on the verge of getting it on, that stuff,
Yeah.
that's my sauce,
My,
man.
my favorite album ever created, actually, if I had to put a gun in my head, my favorite album ever created is the album up there, I Have on the Wall.
That Funkadelic
Yeah,
record,
that's the second
self-titled,
one. Yeah, their first one is
Free Your Mind.
In Your Ass Will Follow. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this one to me is like when I think of Funkadelic, I think of this. Like I got a thing, you got a thing. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
groove. That's and Eddie Hazel is holy
Oh
shit.
God.
Like it's like the Temptations took LSD. It's basically
Yeah.
what it was.
Honestly, very much so.
Like, the
Yeah.
vocals are, I'll bet you.
Those harmonies and I mean,
The vocals are
just the gang vocals, really. You know, because I mean, some of them were harmonies,
deep
but it's
voice
like a
to it.
lot of gang vocals. You know, like each, like you know, get four women to sing this thing. You know, not necessarily in the same register, just like just fucking sing it.
Yeah.
You know, and so uh, that stuff was just really cool. You know, everybody like there was 12 people at times. 15 people in the studio.
If I'm correct, he had 20 backup singers and 17 backup bassists.
Jesus.
From if I'm correct, what I learned,
Mm-hmm.
my dad in 1978, he saw Funkadelic Parliament, I believe, and it was Dr. Funkenstein, and it was the
Yeah.
spaceship, and
Mothership.
the mothership.
Yeah.
And he said people lost because fun story. George Clinton, he told I believe one of his managers, he was like, I want a spaceship
Yeah.
coming. And they're like, that's fucking crazy. You're not gonna be able to do that. And he
How
did it.
expensive that is.
But it paid off. And my dad said, you saw the spaceship at that time to see some holy fucking shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just intense, man.
Red Hot Mama and stuff like that.
That's
And
one
their
of the
outfits were so look up Funkadelic outfits if you want to take a trip.
Red Hot Mama.
That's
Dude, that
funk.
is one of the gnarliest. Dude, can we please play Funkadelic after the
Oh,
King
I know,
Champion?
absolutely.
Good God Almighty, man, you get me all.
I mean, just but to me, when I think of like, that album I have up there on the wall, to me, is just one of the, to me, that's one of the most impressive creations of music, and one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you something, guys. In 1970, they still weren't that famous. And they didn't have the best equipment.
Yeah.
And they learned and knew what to do to make certain sounds.
Yeah.
Mind you,
Eddie Hazel had the good stuff though. Eddie Hazel actually had some good gear.
I mean, also, Maggot
fortunately.
Brain.
Oh God.
Maggot Brain,
Yes.
that album is also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go.
Red Hot Mama. Yeah.
There you go. Red Hot Mama, yeah. I like the voice that goes, "Who is this bitch?"
Yeah. Man, George Clinton was so
Fucking crazy.
so insane, man.
You seen the documentary about him and all that?
Yeah, he was an asshole.
Crazy.
He was an asshole.
I fucking love it.
He was an awful person.
Fucking crazy motherfucker. But he was a lunatic. I could compare to other great musicians of human history.
Well,
A lot of the other musicians we look at to the past were fucking pieces of shit sometimes. But we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, but not all of them.
Not all of them.
Certainly,
But there were some that, Chuck Berry kind of did some bad shit too.
Yeah.
And I'm also sad when Little Richard died though.
Yeah, same.
That's the Godfather.
And I mean,
Lucille.
Talking about like James Brown from earlier too. Like he was an asshole, and he didn't treat his women nice, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do all the time.
Mr. Dynamite though was a hell of a performer.
But you think of it too like this. He grew up with nothing, and then he got all that success. He was going
and
to.
He got it very very early in the early 60s.
Yeah, he went to Augusta, Georgia and stuff, and would see all these pimps and stuff, and see that lifestyle,
but that was
man.
the time, man.
Right, and
that
so
was the time and he lived through that kind of
he looked
scenario.
at that positively. He looked at that like one day I want to access that. One day I want that. And so that's the way he looked at it, and so. You kind of can't blame him for what he kind of got into, but it's at the same time it's like you're a shit person. Yeah, I mean I guess.
I don't think I'm really that bad of a guy. I don't know much about the dude.
Sure.
But I guess you get all that fame to your head, you do some bad shit, shit, right?
I feel like you see early on, and at least in my career, I was like I haven't nothing I've seen other than like vintage guitars, I'm like, I've gotta have it. You know, like no drugs per se. I've gotta have it. You know, it's like that's what I want to attain is, you know, like a couple of vintage pieces, you know, that and like just
And the things like you love that stuff. You really
I
love
really
it.
love that stuff. And so, but that, you know, so in that regard, it's like you kind of think, okay, well, James Brown wanted those things. I mean, he was the greatest, one of the greatest vocalists and like, you know, personalities we've ever had. And
But
so
just it shows like how the energy, like I mean, he worked. I can't
he
imagine.
worked fucking hard. And so, you know,
Yeah,
like,
that's what's kind of a shame that he did do some shitty stuff.
and it's like
It's a shame a little bit, you
with
know.
Clinton, you know, with George Clinton too, you know, it's like he could have been, you know, just the same in that regard. It's like I want this to be my, you know, not so much end goal, but like this is my happiness. And
Yeah.
so, you know, fill in the blank with what you will as to what your happiness is, and
Yeah.
like if you work freaking hard for it, then you have it, you know. But like, you know, I feel like George Clinton, yes, he was like the personality behind this band, and like, you know, he just like he was singing shit to his bandmates. He was like, I want you to do this, and like, you know, look at the new funkadelic P Funk Collective stuff compared to like,
Yeah.
you know, early 70s 74 with when this record came out. This is the greatest funkadelic record in my
You
opinion.
think so? I like the Vital Juices cut because like
Yeah.
I think they treat it as like a throwaway,
Yes.
but
Yes, they
it's
do.
really fucking good.
Yes,
And it's
they
like
do.
you know that song Any Color You Like by Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, yeah.
Some people call that a throwaway track. I'm like,
Nah.
I think it's
Nah.
fantastic. I love that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of Wars of Armageddon?
By Pink Floyd?
No, by Funkadelic.
Uh-uh.
Oh, you wouldn't hear
No,
it?
yeah,
This is a
absolutely.
crazy song.
But yeah, it's like with that standing on the verge of getting it on record. I wouldn't so much as call it the best record. It's my favorite. Like just because like standing on the verge of getting it on. Oh, okay, yeah, I actually have because I've heard all the Maggot Brain.
Look at this wah he does.
Which is disgusting. It's uncalled for, quite frankly.
Look at the screen. Like, fuck, man. Like, that's so cool.
If he was on his way to being, forgive me for even mentioning this, but like a better Hendrix. You know,
I
a
actually agree with you.
cleaner.
I think, like, he really, I think,
That motherfucker got it.
in a way, I feel like kind of, I see more resemblance with him with Jimmy than other than anybody else.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
the only guy that actually, I feel like, picked up where Jimmy left off, kind of, and you don't even fucking hear his name.
yeah,
Yeah.
that dude got it, you know. And like
Yeah.
like Stevie, yes, don't I'm
I
not
think he
like
was the one after this, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, but and I'm not,
And
you know,
he's,
but even so much as like Eddie Hazel was kind of doing the
did you
Hendrix
hear
thing.
that?
Oh God, yeah, dude, he's insane. Um, I actually look at him for certain licks, you know. Sometimes, like I try to play with
And he has like a certain
that
type of
ferocity.
sound. And
Yeah,
each album has like a certain type of sound he does.
yeah,
And I always wonder how do you figure that sound and you go like, yeah, this is the one.
yeah. Well, and you know, so fuzz boxes were going around in the mid '60s. You know, like 60, 62, 63, 64, you know, brought in like the fuzz faces and stuff, like the fuzz boxes, you know, that Hendrix used to use. And so Eddie Hazel had access to one of those. You know, not quite the same one, but like a different one. But it was kind of like, you know, two situations of the same, you know, like where he had access to his type of gear and then Hendrix had his, and it was kind of like, you know, okay, you got yours, I got mine, let's go, kind of a thing. And it was, I feel like it might have been like a friendly competition thing, but I don't know quite that Eddie Hazel and Jimmy knew each other. I would hope they did, because they were insane. Both of them, and they both were around for about the same amount of time. With their discography and stuff, and also Dames, Guitar Dames, and
Yeah.
whatever that Eddie Hazel record. You know the one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That thing's insane too. And so
Never did. I like Bootsy Collins too.
Bootsy Collins is incredible, man.
Well, and like it was so crazy. He played with James Brown and Funkadelic, and then he did his own thing.
Yeah, and he's very,
I love.
very successful.
We went to go see one of his performances a while ago,
But that
and
was badass.
and the uniform it was like everybody was wearing like it looked like Egyptian looking like.
Oh yeah, they
But yeah, and it was like his own style, kind of like it looked like everybody was wearing like Egyptian style clothing, because
had
that
a
was like
swag
his
like no
thing.
other.
Yeah, I love like their all fucking outfits too. Like they looked the part of whatever the hell they were doing.
It's far out, man.
It's
It
fucking.
really
I
is.
dig that shit. Like I mean, it's just so It's just so crazy because like that time period was just so. I think we're kind of going through something similar to it right now. Like kind of like I think every 50 years there's something kind of cycles a little bit because just like being alive at that time, just the shit that was going. I remember like 1970. You had rock and roll and all these. You had the war going on, and you had drugs, and there's still. It wasn't as mainstream yet. It was still a lot of extreme conservatism at the time,
Yeah,
and divorce was looked at really as a very not a good thing. And you had all these feminist movements coming out, and then civil rights as well, and then the war protests, and everything was fueled by like this insane momentum going on, and then everything just went different ways with music and pop culture and fashion.
yeah.
I mean, and there was so much crazy shit happening at the time. There was always uh, uh, a bombing or some shit. There was always these riots.
It's
This
a
the
lot of crazy
Mark,
stuff that happened back then,
yeah,
and it's a
Mark
lot of
Essex in New Orleans, who took the Howard Johnson's now Holiday Inn, sniped a bunch of policemen off the roof. And they actually had a Vietnam vet who actually got a helicopter and took the guys up to the building to shoot them from the helicopter. That was in New Orleans in '73. Like that shit happened quite a bit. Pretty crazy. And you see how the Times motivated that kind of music.
yeah, yeah, and times are still crazy, like
It's
people.
crazier than they've ever been, if
Yeah,
you ask my opinion.
it's
Kind
like
of wild. And I'm kind of in the middle, like, wait, hold on.
yeah.
Like, you know,
What are we doing here? Like
yeah.
quite frankly, what's going on?
And you know what's funny is that not only myself, many other people, um, we go back to this older music, and you're like, it's so relatable in so many ways.
Oh yeah, like
It's kind of crazy.
Curtis Mayfield, Marvin Gaye, a lot of those cats, like they're still, they're preaching the same stuff, and it's like things haven't changed, man. Like what are we doing? You know,
It's just
what's
different.
going on?
Yeah, yeah.
Quite frankly.
And you know, it's especially I think I kind of wish we still use music as much as we did now back then for
Yeah.
messages or social proverbs in a way.
That's the way that we're looking at it, is like,
Like the Soviet
why
divide,
this, yeah,
was
man.
really good.
It's like you when you put out a record and you take the time to record it, you put a lot of yourself into it. And
Yeah,
like it's, as long as, you know, these things are physically, present, um, we'll still have that, like we'll still have, a CD, you may not ever be able to like play it,
yeah,
but like
it's there.
it's art, it's there, it's always gonna be here if as long as it can be. And so, we take it as like, why put something out that doesn't mean anything at all? Like why would you take the time to write a song that doesn't mean anything at all? Make it mean something and make it from the heart, make it speak something and release it. And it's always there. You know.
I mean, I just think I'm in a pretty interesting time in history, and what's kind of cool for me and from my personal experience is to kind of see like this resurgence in a certain type of music kind of come back. Like I'm like going to like the juke joint and seeing my favorite band down here and seeing a bunch of people I know there and everybody there just to have a good time. We're all and like that's kind of like our agenda.
Yeah.
It's just hey, you know what our thing is? We work all week, and at the end of the week, we look forward to going to this place that we all look at each other as like a family and friends.
Yeah, we're all
Different political beliefs, no one gives a shit, and we're going to see a band that we all enjoy and have a good time. That's like our agenda, and I fucking love that.
we're
So
all here to have fun.
it's kind of
And
like the
that's
same thing back then in a way. They
yeah.
found a common group of people, and you enjoy the same thing together.
It's your people, like you were saying. It's my people. It's our people.
Yeah.
It's our people. It's like
I mean, I
it's a
feel like I'm
family.
home when I'm there.
Yeah, it's a family that you see every time that band is there, or every time um, it's just like you said, it's home. It
Yeah.
feels like home. There's nothing like it. I mean, there's some times where like you know from the time the show starts till the show ends, it's like a great vibe, and then sometimes you get the people after the fact that like come up to you and it's like, oh wait, I don't want you in my family, but
What happened?
just I
I mean,
mean,
now then somebody slipped you down.
yeah, a little bit, I mean, I love what I do, but sometimes it's like I'd like my time back,
Yeah,
like
I just want to kind of take a break.
yeah.
I feel that.
Can I get some fresh air before I deal with
Yeah,
everybody,
you've been busting your ass for
Yeah,
45 to an hour.
yeah. And even, well over 2 hours
And,
sometimes.
and
Those
one
juke
thing I know
joint
about you
shows.
guys is like you guys are literally like it's like a job. Like hey, the work's not done. You got to get the
Yeah,
equipment. You
yeah.
gotta. And I know you guys start working on it the second you get done. You're like
Well,
hey, before we have fun, we gotta get all shit situated.
yeah,
It's
and
work.
even in the job description, yes, and I have to talk to people, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
It's
and I
just
always see you doing that.
it's
Yeah.
just like sometimes I do want to get the van loaded, and I like
I'm gonna
you
get
know
your shit done.
whoever's listening, like don't be upset. I'm saying this, but it's like
No, no one should be upset because we should all respect the work you put in
well, but I do reserve
and your time to
I
yourself. You
reserve
deserve it.
I reserve the right to, talk to everybody. And I'm supposed to. That's, in my job description is to talk to people, and
And but I think but you talk to people because I know you enjoy it. I
I
know you.
love
Yeah.
I love the fact that we have fans. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the fans, But at the same time, either I'm not in the right headspace to talk to everybody,
Yeah.
because I mean, why would you want to talk to somebody that's not going to talk back?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been on this podcast, for a while. We're talking, we're
Yeah.
enjoying, but it's not always quite like that,
Oh, I'm
So
sure. I mean, I'm sure
sometimes,
sometimes, like a band, like even the best bands in the world, they had their problems. They had their days where they were fucking pissed and they thought they had a bad set or something. And
yeah,
so, I mean, I think everybody should be more, I think, we should all be considerate, because
but
I would equate it to like working all day and you get home and like your kids or your dog is like up in your face and you're like, hold on, just give me 20 minutes to like relax.
well, I don't know. It's sometimes I say that, and
It's not a negative thing at all whatsoever.
and then there's sometimes where like I get there and I feel like I'm not gonna want to talk to people, and then somebody says something in which I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I'm here, yeah, like I may be in a headspace where I didn't want to talk, but you've prompted my emotional
Yeah,
response to be
reaction.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
That's why I always try to see you a little bit before the show because I know you're busy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know you're busy getting your stuff. I mean,
Well, so I like to talk to people either right before, like, within an hour before we start, and then that way I can go, change, start practicing, restring my
Warm
guitar
up.
if I need to, warm up, yeah. And then so from that moment on, I'm kind of in the headspace of, let's play a freaking rock show. And then
Fucking do it.
yeah, and then so that's not quite, the Dylan that like I'm talking to you, So it is, but it isn't. Like
Yeah.
I have to get into my headspace of like, let's go. Like I don't go into the rock show playing mad. Like I don't want to be mad on stage. But like I've found that the ferocity that we try to go for, I kind of need to be not pissed off but on edge, like
Yeah, no,
if that makes sense.
no, you just
And
ready to
so
fucking go. You're like you
yeah,
got the hair trigger on, you're ready.
yeah. And so like from that moment on till about like 30 minutes after the show and the van's mostly loaded or whatever, um, I'm in that headspace still, so
Yeah.
I'm not mad,
That's a lot of adrenaline
but
too.
right. And so like I don't want to take that adrenaline and like I would never necessarily say anything negative to somebody, but like it does bother me when, a couple of people have done this, but like, you know, and we can edit this bit out. But like
Oh, dude, you're all fine.
but like, a couple of people will like stand in front of the van like while I'm trying to put stuff in it. It's like can you give me like 5 minutes? Unless you're
Yeah.
telling me bye, like and then I'll see you, whenever.
Yeah.
Let me finish my job first, and I'll talk to you for 3 hours.
At the end of the day, these guys are just busy, man. Like and
And I love what I
and
do.
look, man. Don't feel guilty. First of all, you're not doing anything wrong, and you're being first of all, you're being honest, and most people just aren't honest all with their fans. And I think fans are not. The guys just work their ass for a little bit. They gotta still get some work done. We gotta give them a little space to do it, and then we get to hang out with them all we can, because you guys provide for us. You guys bust your ass to provide for us. And I appreciate it. I know, oh, fuck, I appreciate it. I know so many others appreciate it. And sometimes, people might get a little close, but guys, can't always be doing that. How would you like it if someone was trying to fucking talk to you while you're trying to get some shit done? I'm sure
Yeah.
you'd get a little frustrated.
Well,
No big deal.
I don't know. I hate the fact that I feel that way sometimes. But
You shouldn't, man. Like, look, you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel that way whatsoever freaking ever. Like, you really shouldn't. I had a good time. Last show y'all played. Come out of the van. Another pretty fun time. You look like you're pretty buttered up, warmed up after. I was
yeah,
like, hell yeah.
yeah, that was good. That was good stuff.
Yeah, I thought of, man, like one of my favorite show I ever saw you guys was Peter Anderson last
Yes,
year.
with the Royal Horses.
Yeah, and man, that was a pretty packed show too.
Mm-hmm.
And then another time I saw you guys, there were people standing up on the benches in the back where they cook all the burgers and hot dogs
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. That
I
show,
love that property,
that show
man.
was packed, man.
That was so much fun. But like I saw, there was a show or two ago where I saw y'all and it was really packed again.
Was it Juke Joint
It
maybe
was juke
or
joint. It was juke joint.
yeah?
I missed y'all in Woolmarket. I wanted to come to Woolmarket and see you guys.
That was fun.
Was it
The
pretty
cannery.
good?
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
pretty good. We
I think I had COVID that time. I felt like I needed to stay home. Yeah, I felt like shit too.
probably for the best,
Yeah,
I guess.
just to play it safe,
Yeah. And so we actually had Naked Gypsy Queens with us that time.
Hell yeah. And they're from
And
Nashville, right?
yeah, yeah.
How's their fan base in Nashville?
Pretty good, man. We played with them up in Franklin, which is just south of just south of Nashville, and it was a great time. We played the Mockingbird Theater. We actually Josh, Cedric, and I played Mountain Jam with them during their set.
Hell yeah.
It was pretty fun, and we had
Everybody loves
Chris.
that one too.
We had Chris, their guitar player and singer, up on a song, and then we had Cade, up on a song.
The guy with the dark hair, he looks like either kind of like Kirk Hammett or kind of like Tom Ayara
Okay, yeah,
from Slayer.
from Slayer, yeah.
He kind of looks like him. He has like the same face and hair.
Yeah,
You
a
know, or
bit.
like a young Kirk Hammett. You know what I mean?
You're right about that.
You look
Yeah.
like Gary Rossington a lot.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool though. I like his I kind of like him too. Like like his like slow heavy riffs. Like On the Hunt
Oh yeah.
or I've heard of Cry for the Bad Man.
I think so. Yeah.
That's a real because he did like cause all the guitar players I had. He had Alan Collins, he had Gary Rossington. He did like the slower but heavy riffs.
Alan Collins and Gary Rosington are probably my two favorites. Out of the bunch that they had.
And Gary survived the plane crash as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's so sad.
I know.
I mean, but I feel like the thing
So I'm
about
always
this.
skeptical of planes.
Yeah, and I'm on them all the time. I'm going this Saturday. I don't think I'm flying over the Bermuda Triangle again.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I've been on some pretty not fun times on planes. I mean, all the traveling I've done, I've been in some pretty. We hit an air pocket at one time, and the plane dropped
Jesus Christ.
about 2-3 seconds, and like you just freaking the stewardess, the flight attendant running around, making sure no one had a heart attack.
Yeah, for real.
Uh-oh, I'm getting called. I don't know who the hell that is. But no, yeah, man. Anything else you wanna cover? Just being a band member of Magnolia Bayou, who, you know, just I can't wait to get all the guys on here one day. And just like we've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm glad we did. And let's do it a shit ton of more times.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, why not?
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, the band's name is Magnolia Bayou. They always play the juke joint. You can also find the website, I do believe, as well.
It's magnoliabayou.com. We're on Facebook.
Not .gov.com.
Yeah, we don't have .gov. We're working on edu right now though. So till next time.
Till next. Well, guys, look.
No,
Sorry.
but yeah, we got Facebook, Instagram. We do Twitter sometimes, but Facebook and Instagram are the best ways. And
you can get the
shows.
You get the schedule for the shows as well.
Shows are on magnoliabayou.com. We try to keep the events up to date on Facebook as well. But yeah, stream the new single "Train Don't Stop." We actually recorded the music video at the Juke Joint. We'll be playing at the Shed on, I want to say November 20th. Let me check that.
I love this song by War.
November 20. Yes, November 20th. Yeah, so the Shed on November 20th in Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
How's the crowd get out there? Pretty good.
Pretty fun, man. It's a good,
might come out for
time.
that. If I'm in town, I really might come out for that.
It's a great time, dude.
Let's take a quick little snappy chat. Beautiful song, guys. Anyway, you got the information. You need to come see them live whenever you can. And I'm really hoping to get with the rock station we just discussed.
Yeah.
On here. I really like what they're doing. I'd love to just talk about you guys with them as well and keep getting the word out. Keep supporting your local bands. Keep listening to good music. And we will talk to you guys again soon. Drive safe. Have a good time. Light one up.
Cheers.